they been cramping my style all week. Craving chocolate trees, checking pants, checking seeds, sipping herbal tea, and fight for menstrual equity. Jeez, man, I kick cramps ass. 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 You're now tuned in to the Kick Cramps Ass podcast with your host, Brittany Walker, advocating for menstrual equity, period poverty, and womb wellness. New episodes on Menstruation Mondays.
Hello, welcome everybody. Happy Menstruation Monday. It is Monday, June 17th, 2024, and you've made it to episode 16, season 2 of the KCA Kick Cramps Ass podcast, where we're going to be talking about empowering your womb through yoga practice. We are so excited about today's episode and next week's episode because it's a two-part episode that we have with the amazing Rooted N Flo. So we're going to introduce our first guest in just a moment. Now, we always like to kick off each episode with the I am power statement. I representing inspiration, A representing affirmation, M representing manifestation. All right, guys. So the I am power statement for today is I am receiving the knowledge regarding how essential yoga practice is for restoring, recalibrating, and rejuvenating the body and womb. Ashe. Now, the quote of the day is yoga is the journey of the self, through the self, and to the self. All right, guys. And that is by the Bhagavad Gita. All right, guys. Now, you know, we always are sipping in our Kick Cramps Ass Cup, our cramp elixir. So we are going to cut to a quick commercial break and we'll be right back in just a few moments. Have you tried our bestseller, the Cramp Elixir? It's our herbal tea blend designed to reduce and eliminate menstrual cramps, PMS symptoms, and other uterine health issues that are hindering your day-to-day progress. Our elixir may decrease inflammation, reduce stress and anxiety, regulate blood flow, balance your mood, and it can kick cramps ass. It includes a variety of herbs including hibiscus, red raspberry leaf, calendula, motherwort, ashwagandha, plus more. Head over to kickcrampsass.org and grab yours today. Now, back to the show. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed that commercial. Welcome back. Now, with it being June 17th in a couple days, we have Juneteenth. So we're celebrating that, of course, you know, being from Houston, Texas, being close to that Galveston water, feeling the energies of the ancestors. I just hope that they're proud that we are living out our purposes that we're supposed to be doing in this lifetime. June is also Pride Month, so we want to shout out to all the LGBTQIA plus community, and for all of those who menstruate, not just women, non-binary folks, trans folks. We want to represent for everybody with that diversity, equity, and inclusion. But let's go ahead and get started and bring our guest on. We have Brianna Harris from Rooted N Flo. Now, wellness has been a passion of hers for over 7 years. She created a space where she can help others find mindful awareness, body positive movement, and spiritual alignment. She is a certified yoga instructor, Reiki master, sound healer, crystal healer, and holistic lifestyle influencer. Like, y'all know how we love our crystal healing, our sound baths, our energy healing. So yes, right aligned with what we advocate for. Now, she also co-created a community-based events to bring culture and affordable wellness to Black, Indigenous people of color and the community of Las Vegas. She is also the owner of Zentric Flow, a yoga accessory brand that aids you in your spiritual wellness journey. So everybody, can you please welcome Brianna Harris from Rooted N Flo to the show today?
Hi, how you doing?
So good, Brianna. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me today.
Absolutely. It's such a pleasure. Guys, I have been following Rooted N Flo since I moved to Vegas about a year and a half ago.
Yay.
If you guys, yeah, If you guys are subscribed to us or you've been following us for a while, you know that we were a part of their amazing festival that they had at the beginning of November of 2023. So we're definitely going to have Brianna plug her information so you guys can subscribe to them and keep up with their latest news and events. All right. So,
Yes.
Brianna, may you please tell us more about Rooted and Flow and what you guys do?
Yes. So, me and Amber, we are Rooted in Flow, and we connected at a pop-up shop before. And she's a herbalist. I'm a yoga instructor and energy healer, and we just got along really well. And it started off me putting my products in her store, and then she's like, "I want to do something for the community," and I'm like, "I want to too." So, actually, our very first event that we did was a festival. And I had just got my yoga certification, and I mean I was already in the realm of it for like a long time, but like actually throwing, that was my first event. That was my first like that size of a class. So I was a little nervous, but ever since then, we just been taking off, just doing stuff with the community, wanting to give back to the community, having a safe space for everybody, but mainly for the BIPOC community, you know, Black, Indigenous, people of color, because it's important to see ourselves in health and wellness. It's important to see our culture in health and wellness. And there's just been so many times where I've been in spaces where it doesn't resonate with me culturally. They can't, and we actually heal on a cultural level in all aspects. It comes down to our DNA, about what our struggles that we can heal together. So a person not of color can't relate to my healing in the way, or help me heal in the way that I need to heal, if you know they can't relate to me. So we try and create that safe space where we could bring the culture out and heal on that level.
I absolutely love that. I think it's so important to have representation. And like you said, if I'm going to get some form of healing, some type of anything that's going to elevate me as a whole, why not do it from somebody that looks like me? Because I can probably better relate to that person. So I love that you're focusing on that.
Yeah.
So, next, I would like to know what galvanized you to pursue a career in yoga. What was that moment that was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and do this.
So actually, my twin sister, she was getting into this yoga realm, and she kept on saying, "Brianna, come with me, come with me to yoga class." And I was just like, I can't even balance nothing. I finally went with her after like 6 months, and I was like, you know what, I actually really like that. So I just was practicing at home every day. Um, I actually rarely went to a yoga studio. I did a few times, but it just became a passion of mine, and I wanted to share those gifts with other people. So I finally fulfilled my lifelong dream of being certified as a yoga instructor. But I did know that I didn't want to just be a yoga studio teacher. I wanted to be more than just, teaching yoga poses. So yoga is just one aspect of the whole of what I try to do for people. Is I try to enlighten on a holistic level, like a cellular level. So it yoga, mind, body, spirit, nutrition, holistic health in general, quantum healing. That's really what I try and give back to the community. So I noticed that uh, I like to say every depression has has led me to a different path in the holistic journey.
Yes.
And so, as I learn and I'm getting into this, well, I'll forever be a student, but right now my biggest focus is on African holistic health and quantum healing. And as I'm learning more about it, I'm really realizing how quantum healing is like this umbrella for, if you notice, Ayurveda, Chinese medicine, Rastafarianism, African holistic health, and the different cultures in them. They're all quantum healing.
Right.
it's it just a cultural difference in all of them. So as I'm studying these different forms, I'm realizing right now I'm studying about Kemet and the Kemetic yoga and Kemetic energy healing. And they've been doing yoga. You can see it in the hieroglyphs, you know, so
Yes.
they've
Yes.
been doing that for a long time. So it's just kind of cool to see how all cultures do the same thing, just culturally different. And that's my big studies right now.
I love that. That was so beautifully said. And like you said, the holistic approach is taking ancient history. We're not talking about years, we're talking about centuries of just valid information that worked back then. I always laugh about, and I've said this on the podcast this season and last season, guys, if you go look at them hieroglyphics, they doing yoga, they got on waist beads, like it's been
They've been doing the
around.
whole nine the whole time.
Right, right. And we have on our website a resource center that we have book suggestions, and I'm always talking about like the African American herbalism and
Oh, I love that
African
book.
American slavery herbalism and medicine, things that they were doing back then to
Mhm.
sustain. So I just love that you are bringing more light to that and put like re-putting power into, we don't have to keep paying attention just because it's on TV, just because it's on social media, that that's the quick fix to do. Let's go to the foundational purpose of why you're in this pain or how we can help you. So
Yeah.
that actually rolls into our next question. So you talked about yoga, but what actually influenced you to advocate for health and wellness as a whole? Because people think health and wellness is just physical. I always say optimal wellness is physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and if you even really want to throw it in, you could throw in financially as well. So what influenced you to just advocate for health and wellness in general?
Just because I didn't see representation for the Black community in these spaces. And I mean, I'm seeing them a lot more now that I'm in the realm, but they're not in Vegas really. Like a lot of the predominantly Black states, like you said, Texas, and Atlanta, and you know all these other places. I'm seeing like all of these Black and brown people getting together and healing on a cultural level, and I love that. And I'm just like, where is Vegas at?
Where we at?
Where is Vegas at? I was like, well, if I don't find it, I'm gonna make it. So I'm gonna do it. And I mean, one thing to touch on that is mind, body, spirit. It's all together. You know, you can't heal the mind if you don't heal the body. You can't heal the gut if you don't heal your
Right.
spirit. You know what I mean? It all comes together. And one thing that has I've been seeing a lot on social media and a lot of places is that they're calling this new age spirituality. And it
Mm-hmm.
drives me absolutely nuts because
Yep.
I'm all like, they have erased our history, erased our culture so much that
Right.
they think that this is new. And it is not. This is ancient practices. We've been doing this since before time. And just now it's beautiful to see people waking up and being open-minded and going back down to the roots of healing on a quantum level, you know? And I just want to share the knowledge that I've been learning because I'm like a nerd. I'm like writing notes and reading
Yeah.
books and everything. And it just resonates so much and it's helped me heal on so many different levels. And I just want to be able to share that with other people in any way that I can, you know? That's me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You said a couple of specific things that I feel like people need to pay attention to when it comes to their purpose. When it's something that you can't get enough of, like you said, I want to keep learning, I want to be a forever student, that can help you find your purpose. Also, shifting your mind and just, stepping outside the box. Everybody around you might be doing the same thing, but just step outside the box for a second and see,
Yeah.
what things are. And I think when it comes to health and wellness and our people, that could be a difficult thing because I'll say, hey, you should do this, is that, and the third. They're like, you're a nutritionist. Okay, well, remove the nutritionist side out of it. Hey, you should do this, is that, and the third. Like, try lentils. Ew, lentils. Well, if you go to an Ethiopian restaurant, lentils through and through. and all the meals.
Hmm.
Like that's a cultural food. So
Right.
I think it's just really important, like you said, to pour back into us and remove this new age stuff of what everybody's trying to do, and let's go back to the roots on what has really worked. Because back then they live into 100, 200 years old, and we barely can make it to 60 and 70 years old now because of what
Yeah.
we're putting in and on our bodies.
And the thing about it is that they're calling it New Age spirituality, but it's not New Aged. It's
Right.
ancient. It's just being brought back to life. We're being awakened back to, who we are and, how powerful. I mean, this right here, this melanin that we have,
Yes.
that's a powerful thing. I mean, people of non-color are injecting themselves with melanin, and a lot
Right.
of people don't even know that how important it is. It's not even just in our skin, it's in our organs, it's in our,
Right.
DNA, and it helps with all the functions in all of our body. So, and I like how you said, take away the nutritionist part. Like, I'm more than just a nutritionist. I'm more than just a yoga instructor. Like, I have knowledge. I study different parts of it because it's not just one part. Like yoga, if you study yoga, you'll it's called yoga asana because yoga is not necessarily the practice. One limb of yoga is asana, and that is the physical movement. Yoga is a mind, body, spirit practice. So it goes with multiple cultures, and how they correlate all of that. Yoga is just like it's union. It's uniting the mind, body, spirit. So
Yes. So beautifully said. Absolutely. Absolutely. And then what you said about the melanin, people don't realize the power behind neuromelanin. You go out there and you get you some vitamin D and activate it. All right. And let's watch what that
please.
creativity do. Because if it's to the point that people are injecting themselves with it, that lets you know how much power we have. That's why they're trying to keep us controlled. But that's another conversation we're gonna have to get into another day.
Girl, I could go deep on that one all day long,
Girl.
but we won't. We'll stick to the subject today.
Yes, yes, yes. We might have to do a part 3 and 4 because I'm here for it. Yes. So, in relation to menstruation, may you please elaborate on the importance of the root chakra and keeping that balance? When I try to talk to people about, hey, keeping your chakras aligned, crystal
Mhm.
healing, they're like, girl, wait, what? So I try to enforce the importance of what the root chakra does for our wounds. So can you tap on that for just a little bit?
Yes, of course. So, our womb is actually in our sacral chakra, but our menstruation cycle actually has a lot to do with our root chakra too. Because when we're like feeling imbalanced, it's in the pelvic floor. So when we're feeling imbalanced and everything, that is all in the hips and the root chakra. So we're feeling ungrounded and just like out of whack. So I feel like it's so important to remember to, like we were talking about earlier, go out into the sun, get some sunlight, put your feet in the grass, hold a crystal, let that sun hit that third eye, and just like lay in the grass and ground yourself because it helps that disconnection that we feel when we're going through that hormonal imbalance, and it just
Right.
brings us back down and centered and balances out those hormones. um yeah, I was going to say something else, but I just completely lost my train of thought.
No, you're okay. You're okay. And of course, even talking about the sacral though, the sacral is super important. I feel like that's probably my favorite chakra. Could do have to do with my human design, but I feel like the sacral is important as well, like you said, because that's where the actual womb is housed at. So it's
Yeah.
important for us as menstruators. That sacral and that root, we got to keep that together. Like
Yeah,
it's
those are
very
the
imperative.
the first two chakras. So like the root and the sacral chakra, if those are out of balance, like your kundalini energy is all out of whack, and if all chakras are out of whack, if your root chakra is out of whack. So
Exactly.
it is so important to like start there. I just recently did a chakra series on my Instagram where every day I'm doing a different healing technique to balance out my chakras. And just starting with the root and the sacral, those 2 days alone, huge, huge, huge energy shift. I could feel it in my body, in my mood, in everything. And surprisingly enough, I was actually on my menstruation when I was doing my sacral and root work,
Mm-hmm.
and complete shift,
Yep.
complete shift. And people just don't. Sometimes I always say this: you don't know how good you could feel until you actually do the work.
Big facts. Big facts.
They
I
don't
love.
know.
They don't. They
They're
don't.
like, let me show you something.
I can show you a thing or two now. Love it. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back with you. Now, navigating to our resource center, we want to give you guys access to all these complimentary resources that we have available for you. We have our blog, book suggestions, our menstrual blood chart, exercise moves to kick cramps ass. We have recipes. We have reports. We have research studies that helps to prove how holistic approaches assist with achieving wound wellness. We have wellness tips, wellness referrals, so business organizations and individuals that we would like to refer to you that are our strategic partners, wound terminology. Maybe there's some wound options that you're not aware of. This can help you out. And lastly, yoga moves to help you kick cramps ass. Feel free to take advantage of this complimentary resource. All right, guys, now back to the show. All right, guys, welcome back. We hope that you enjoyed that commercial. Now, Brianna, what advice would you give to an individual who is wanting to implement yoga into their daily practice? I find it to where when I talk to people or even when I'm referring my clients to yoga, they're like, girl, you about to be having me going in the handstand and then crow pose. And it's like, no, you don't have to do those things. You know, you start small, do 5 minutes a day, just work on your stretches, just get your wrist strong. So what would be your recommendations for somebody that is actually wanting to incorporate it, but they're afraid to?
My number one, always, always, is start where you are. Where you are is exactly where you're supposed to be. So I hear this, I can't touch my toes. Well, you don't have to touch your toes. That's a progression. So if me touching my toes feels the same as you touching your knees, then I've achieved what we needed to achieve in your body. Because this is your practice, this is your body, and I want you to start where you are. And taking that time out to, like, we all have busy lives, but we also make time for what we want. So if you prioritize you, then you're making time for yourself. I have a big thing that I started this year is that I noticed that I was so busy, and I even was slowing up on my own yoga practice. And then I thought to myself one day, when's the last time I did something for me? What in this day that I did that was for me? So the next time you're like, I don't have time to do yoga, say, well, when do you have time for yourself? When do you have time to prioritize yourself? And it doesn't even have to be yoga because, again, yoga asana is just one aspect of yoga. But finding time for yourself, whether it's 5 minutes or 20 minutes, and
Right.
starting where you are, that is the biggest advice I could give you. It's starting right there where you are. It doesn't matter if you could touch your toes, do a headstand. We all have to start somewhere.
You have
So,
to start somewhere. And that is an amazing piece of advice. I think when I first started doing yoga, it was one of those, oh my God, I just wanted to be so perfect. I wanted to look like what that instructor was looking like. And he was like, no, it
yeah.
doesn't work like that. And then once I became, I guess the best way to say it is once I graduated from being low vibrational, once I went from 3D and I kind of skipped up to 4D, now I'm coming to 5D. I'm like, okay,
Ooh.
D, like let's look at things differently. And so right now I'm in the middle of getting certified to become a yoga instructor and a Pilates
Yay.
instructor. And it's one of those things, like you said, when do you have time for it? Well, I'll do the physical practice during the day, but in the evening time, let me go ahead and run this bath water, and then I'm about to play this this lecture while I'm sitting in the tub, having me time, but still taking in the practice and learning how can I become a better me. So I love that you said that because I realize, and I hope this doesn't come off rude or mean because I am a Scorpio and I can be very blunt. But at the same token, it's like stop making excuses. If you have time to scroll on social media, if you have time to do your Amazon shopping, if you have time to go hang out with the girls and have, happy hour, you could devote 5 to 10 minutes to yourself. You
Yeah.
can, work your way up to 30 minutes a day easily.
Hmm.
It's all about, like you said, what you truly want to do. And it's about, I feel like, shifting your mind and saying, okay, this is something I really do want to do. That's going to
Yeah.
be good for me.
Yeah. Uh, it starts to become, what are your non-negotiables?
Yes.
So in the mornings, sometimes it doesn't happen like right in the beginning of my day like I would like it to, but I've made a devotion to myself that I will spend at least minimum 5 minutes meditating every single day.
Yes.
And it's because that's my me time, that's my quiet time, that's when I get all my thoughts together, and that's my yoga off the mat you know so I choose to spend at least 5 minutes on me, because I'm pouring into so many different cups every day with my kids, my man, my friends, my work, all these things. But who's pouring into me? You as yourself, me as myself. I am the center of my universe, and I have to take care of me, because nobody else is going to take care of me like I am. So you have to find time for yourself. And if you don't, then, you're who's going to do it for you?
Right.
Who's going to do it for you?
Nobody's going to come to save you. That's what you have to learn. As much as you
Hmm.
want somebody to save you, you have to save yourself. You have
Hmm.
to.
Yeah, I cannot pour into my kids. I cannot be a good mother to them if I'm losing my mind because I haven't taken a second to pour into myself. So people who say I don't have time, I'm like, no, you're making time for other people and not for yourself. And
Absolutely.
and that goes for work too. That goes for any job, because you could meditate for 5 minutes before you go into work. You could do a couple stretches before you get into the bed. It's all about prioritizing your time.
Absolutely. And
Yep.
you have people that are like, oh my God, I love Beyonce, or oh my God, I love this. I'm like, Beyonce got the same 24 hours. Angela Davis got the same 24 hours. Michelle Obama. We can keep going down the whole list. Like, let's
Mhm.
go back to Harriet Tubman had the same 24 hours. Like, you just have to know what you're willing to make time for. And when you really think about it, love, those 5 or 10 minutes go by so quick.
They
Once you get
do.
deep into your practice and you doing 45 to 60 minute sessions, them 5 minutes be like
That's easy. Clockwork.
yes, clockwork, clockwork.
It really
Absolutely.
does. It really
So,
does.
how does yoga positively impact all components of optimal wellness? We talked about this briefly earlier, but let's get a little more into it. So,
Mhm.
mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Because I noticed that a lot of people like to do yoga for physical because they're like, hey, it gets my body tone. So, I'm about to do it for that reason. They're not
Uh-huh.
really realizing that it has so much positive impact on your mental, your spiritual, and your emotional wellness components as well. So, can we talk about that a bit?
Yes. So when you start to break down yoga, you start to realize how you're connecting to the breath to the body. How instead of focusing on all the little nuisances that we got going on in our brain, the things about what we got to do today, I'm breathing and I'm thinking about how I'm going to reach my toes. I'm thinking about how I'm going to raise my arms. I'm thinking about how I'm centering myself, and I'm connecting these movements to my breath at the same time. So it's people after they're done doing yoga, they're focusing on just their mind, their body, and their breath. And once they finish doing yoga, they're like, wow, that was a break from the world.
Yeah.
That was a break from my own monkey mind. You know what I mean? Like just connecting back to your mind, body, and spirit, and breath, and that energy work. And it's all energy work. People don't realize that doing yoga asana is connecting with the mind, breath, and spirit. So they're hitting all 3 points while they're moving through these sequences, and they don't realize, like, oh, I feel so great afterwards. And I was like, yeah, because you became one.
Yes, yes. One thing I appreciated going to the festival, November 2023, was I could
Mhm.
hear you doing your yoga classes. And I love a yoga instructor at the end where it's not a quick cool down or, going into savasana. I know some people are like, what that word mean? But, just taking time to really calm the body down, kind of go into a slight meditation, becoming one again, like let everything just merge together. I feel like when you rush through that process, you don't get the full gratification of the yoga practice, no matter how small or how long it or short and long that it was. So I appreciate when I heard you. I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to be vending, but girl, yes, like let me get regrounded because it was funny. I had started my cycle that morning, so I'm like, look, you giving me what I need, like. Yes, like let's get this all together. And then you had the Reiki there and all these amazing options that was just so beneficial to getting your health and wellness together. So, yeah, we're going to make sure we put all your information in so people can subscribe and keep up with everything that you have going on. Cuz yeah,
Yes.
guys, figure out where she at so you can definitely hop on and get your yoga instruction with her, all right?
Yes, connect with me, whether it's through yoga, through community healing, energy healing. Um, I love it all, and I'm here to help.
Yes, yes. So I did just bring up menstruation, a cycle, but do you have a regimen or ritual to help you prepare for your menstrual cycle? Like, do you do a specific yoga practice? Do you have like, I know we have Amber that's going to be coming on talking about herbalism, but do you have a special tea that you like to use or, some type of thing that you do to prepare yourself leading up to your cycle and during your cycle to give yourself real rest, love, and rejuvenation?
Yes, so I like to drink iron-rich tea. I am obviously when we're bleeding, we have to take care of our blood count. Um, I'm also anemic, so my periods could be very heavy at times. So I noticed that getting in my nettle, my dandelion tea, and all of those things, I and just started drinking those, and it helps to regulate all of that stuff and regulate my periods. I also I'm mostly a vinyasa yoga teacher, but during my period, that is like absolutely not going to happen.
Yeah. Who's gonna be
So
doing
I,
chaturanga? What?
how well you want me to do? So it's actually more of me doing more yin poses. And back in my early days, how you were saying earlier, we like to perfect our yoga poses. I'm like, I'm not trying to do all of that on my period. I'm trying to sit in child's pose and,
Mhm.
just stretch and like loosen up my body and um, relax all these cramps that are happening and just do like child's pose, cobra pose, scorpion pose. All of those poses are really good for like grounding and stretching, and those are perfect for me. So tea, a little yin yoga goes a long way.
I love it. I love it. Now, this is a side question, but I just
Mhm,
want to know since you do crystal healing, do you
mhm.
have a favorite crystal that's like your fave personally to use when it comes to crystal healing?
My favorite, my two favorite is citrine and amethyst. Yes, citrine is just that. Um, that one's more connected with the sacral chakra, or not
Okay.
sacral, sorry, solar plexus.
Solar plexus.
Yeah, and that's all about like our inner light and just our personal power, so and self control. And so, I that one is really helpful to me when I'm trying to like control my emotions and control my reality. So
Yep.
I love citrine. Amethyst is really great as a protector, as a helping my third eye, helping my dreams. Sometimes I'm struggling with sleeping, so I put an amethyst under my pillow. So
Mhm.
those two are my favorite, my absolute favorite. And cellunite, you can't go wrong with that one.
Yes. Yes. I love, love, love. All of those are literally sitting on my dresser, on my nightstand next to my bed. I love it. I love it. So To close out, are there any last remarks or comments that you would like to share before we close out for the day? It has been such an amazing conversation, and we really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to give the people some information more about you, holistic healing, and using the yoga practice to do so.
Yes. Oh, little guy wants to join us. Give us 1 second, puppy. Yes. So, you said to more about me. I'm sorry, he distracted me for a quick
No, you're
second.
okay. You're okay. I was just asking, did you have any last remarks or comments that you would like to share before we close out for the day?
Yes. So I would love for you guys to check out Rooted in Flow and also check out my personal page, Bree Daisy, on Instagram or TikTok, and connect with me. Let's bring the community get together and all heal on a cultural level. And I would love to share all the things that I'm doing. And I would also love for people to come out and share what they're doing because I love to also talk to people and see where they're at on their journey. And because we could all learn from each other. And it's beautiful when the community gets together. You know what I mean? So, definitely check me out and let's connect on any social media and let's also connect in person because social media is fake.
Bam, bam, bam. Thank you, ma'am.
Let's connect in real life. Come out to my events. I love networking and going out to other people's events as well. Also, if you're ever in need of a yoga mat, I make really good quality yoga mats. They're cork and natural rubbers, so they're heavy duty, so they're not moving around, and they
Right.
have beautiful Afrocentric designs on them. And um, again, that's
Mhm.
why I made that yoga mat was because I didn't see representation of the culture in there. So um, yes, I would love for all of you guys to connect with me, whether it's through Rooted in Flow, my personal page, or my brand Zentric Flow.
I love that. Well, first of all, I'm gonna have to put a reminder on my phone, honey, because she loves a good yoga mat. I like
Yes.
a home mat, I like a performance mat, I like a travel mat. So I'm gonna have to check you out. All the information that Brianna just gave you in regards to Rooted in Flow, her company, all she has going on, we're gonna include that information in the description of this episode, guys. So we're gonna take a quick break and we'll be right back. Welcome to Kick Cramps Ass org. Now, feel free to subscribe and get 15% off. By doing so, you're subscribing to our newsletter and you receive the latest news, resources, and updates. We appreciate you for connecting with us, so we want to get you with 15% off on your first order. So go ahead and leave your first name, your last name, and your email address, and you'll have this 50% off coupon that you can use towards your first order. Now, back to the show. Welcome back. I hope that you enjoyed that commercial. So, again, guys, it is June. So, we have Juneteenth coming up in a couple of days. It's Pride Month. And then we're also excited because it marked the 2-year anniversary on 6/6 for our book, Energy's Formula to Kick Cramps Ass, a blueprint to naturally get rid of menstrual cramps. So, I started off as a book. And then April of 2023, we decided to convert into an organization. Now we have all these products and services. We have all these amazing opportunities, these sponsorships. So we're just so excited to where we're growing to, and we want to hear from you. So feel free. We're still accepting listeners mail, so feel free to comment to this episode. If you want a more personalized touch, feel free to email us at contact@kickcrampsass.org, which you will have in the description of this episode. But to recap, we spoke with Brianna Harris, half of Rooted N Flo. This is part one of a 2-part episode series. The next episode, we will have Amber Davis on, which is the second half. But we were talking about empowering your womb through yoga practice, season 2, episode 16. It is something else that Brianna actually mentioned that I wanted to say real quick, where she was talking about going to other people's events, supporting them, doing things for the community. And one thing I could say is when I went to your festival as a vendor, you already had like two or three of my wellness sisters there, but then I met other people that I've gotten closer to since then. So
Mhm.
I just love the connection and the good energy that you and Amber give off consistently, and that attracts other people that's on the
Thank you.
same wavelength and the energy that we're exuding. Because, like we said, energy is everything.
It
So
is.
we're not trying to do that 3D. We're trying to be. So I
Right.
love. Yes. So I love that you mentioned that. But guys, be sure to like the podcast. Share it with somebody that you feel like can resonate. We're on multiple platforms. Be sure to subscribe to our website so you can keep up with the latest news, events, and resources that we have going on. We're always throwing away, doing giveaways. We're doing all these different events and things. So we want you to be able to take advantage of that. And also for subscribing to us, you get 15% off at our KCA store. So your first order that you place with us with any of our period products or services, you can get 15% off on your first time. All right. And then also subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have additional content and resources for you. And we're rolling out new products and services at the end of the year that's going to be centered around YouTube. All right, guys. But if there's not anything else, we want to send gratitude to you, gods and goddesses, for tuning in with us today. And we want to manifest a positive, productive, and peaceful remainder of the day and your menstrual journey. And we'll be talking to you next Monday for part 2 with Amber Davis, the other half of Rooted N Flo.
Yay. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.